The history of Konami's football franchise, Malaysia's football legend in a video game, and the must-play titles of early 2024. Today on Main Game.
Welcome back to Main Game, the show that brings you the top news on gaming. We'd like to welcome you to our second season of our Malaysian-made gaming show. I'm your host, Ifa Hazim.
And I'm your co-host, Lewis Larkham from Kakuchopurei, ripe and ready after a well-earned break from Main Game Season 1.
Okay, so Luis, what have you been up to since our last awesome Main Game episode, season finale, where we talk about, wonderful world of sports games?
I mean, wow, it's been such a long time, and in that time I've been playing so many new titles and games. It's insane, actually. In fact, the months of January and early February have been crazy with game releases. We have Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, Grand Blue Fantasy Relink, and many more, which we'll talk about later in this episode. But what have you been up to, Aoife?
Well, as for me, I have been busy since then, doing a lot of stuff, a lot of work. But just so you know, I'm back in RTM News, so if you want to watch me, you can watch me on RTM News.
That sounds terrific. Though, as much as I'd like to talk about our downtime, I think we have some amazing gaming business that we need to tend to.
Without further ado, let's jump to our first segment of the day, Lowdown. Okay, Luis, so what can you tell me about Konami?
Well, they're a pretty big video game publishing company that got famous from a lot of 80s and 90s arcade and NES games. We're talking the Castlevania series, the run-and-gun Contra games, and even licensed titles like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles beat-em-ups.
I've heard that one of their breadwinners is the Pro Evolution Soccer series, That's a pretty big football series, right?
That is correct. Whether it's called Winning 11 or Pro Evolution Soccer or eFootball, they're all one and the same football franchise that is still being played to this day. In fact, it's been around just as long as the FIFA games from EA have.
And with that, ladies and gentlemen, here's a special segment on Konami's eFootball series brought to you by Konami.
Konami's enduring soccer video game series, recognized under a plethora of titles such as Hyper Soccer, International Superstar Soccer, Winning 11, Pro Evolution Soccer, aka PES, and now eFootball, has left an indelible mark on the sports gaming landscape. However, its trajectory towards acclaim wasn't always a seamless journey. Rather, it was fraught with challenges that compelled the developers to continually innovate and adapt. Operating with two distinct divisions, Konami Computer Entertainment Tokyo and Konami Computer Entertainment Osaka, each division bore responsibility for different facets of soccer gaming. Tokyo's focus predominantly revolved around crafting simulation-style experiences akin to PES, while Osaka specialized in delivering arcade-style thrills through titles like International Superstar Soccer or ISS. In different regions, the games had different names. Europeans called it Pro Evolution Soccer, while in North America and Japan, the franchise was known as Winning 11. So that's pretty much everything that you need to know about Konami during this time period. Now, without further ado, let's get into the brief history of eFootball. The origins of the eFootball franchise can be traced back to 1992 with the release of Konami Hyper Soccer for the NES, a title notable for its rudimentary control scheme that challenged players with limited inputs. Subsequent iterations, particularly within the International Superstar Soccer series, introduced groundbreaking features such as improvised player names and fictionalized renditions of real tournaments, significantly shaping the landscape of soccer gaming. As technology advanced, the franchise transitioned into the 3D era with titles like Goalstorm on the PlayStation. However, it was the release of ISS Pro in 1999 that marked a watershed moment, ushering in a new era of heightened realism and refined gameplay mechanics. This evolution continued with subsequent releases such as ISS 64, ISS 98, and International Superstar Soccer 2000, which notably introduced the innovative success mode. The advent of the PlayStation 2 heralded a golden age for the franchise, with the ISS reboot laying out the groundwork for the official debut of Pro Evolution Soccer in 2001. PES distinguished itself with unparalleled attention to detail, encompassing lifelike visuals, and an array of immersive gameplay modes. Over time, the series further solidified its authenticity with the inclusion of licensed club teams and leagues, captivating fans with its unparalleled realism. While certain iterations like PES 6 faced criticism for certain alterations, they also introduced novel features such as licensed outfits for World Cup players and innovative gameplay modes like the International Challenge mode. Despite varying opinions, PES 6 succeeded in blending diverse gameplay philosophies, fostering a dedicated community of enthusiasts. The adoption of the Fox engine in PES 2014 represented a significant milestone, renewing the franchise's emphasis on realism and authenticity. Real-world competitions were expanded to include the AFC Champions League for the first time, a move aimed at broadening the game's appeal within the Asian-Pacific market. Despite encountering obstacles, the franchise persisted in its evolution. PES 2019 underwent a branding shift to include eFootball in the title and featured notable cover stars like Lionel Messi. Despite challenges, it represented a blend of positive gameplay changes and challenges within the evolving gaming landscape. After the release of eFootball PES 2020, the subsequent release eFootball PES 2021 was more of a season update with subtle enhancements rather than a new game entirely. In 2022, the entire franchise rebranded to just eFootball and continued to update year by year, which seamlessly integrated mobile and console gaming through its crossplay infrastructure. Initiatives like incorporating local legends such as Safi Sali in markets like Malaysia underscored Konami's commitment to enhancing regional appeal and fostering community engagement. Reflecting on its illustrious 25-year legacy, the franchise serves not merely as a source of entertainment, but as a testament to the artistry and history of soccer gaming. It preserves cherished memories and pays homage to the beautiful game, transcending its status as a mere pastime to become a cultural touchstone for enthusiasts worldwide.
And that was an extensive dive into the realm of the eFootball series. So tell me, Louise, what is your favorite Pro Evolution Soccer entry? Oops, I mean eFootball.
Well, you're not wrong, Aoife. Everyone these days still refers to Konami's football brainchild as either Pro Evolution Soccer or even Winning 11. It's just been ingrained in Southeast Asian culture. As for my favorite, I would probably have to say PES 6, purely just because of the feature that allowed you to change team kits to giant penguin costumes, which was just adorable.
Would you say that they have better features and more realistic gameplay than the FIFA series?
Yes, because PES has always been renowned for having just better fluid animations for players and then advanced ball mechanics, which just makes the game a lot more responsive and more lifelike as well.
Okay, what about the graphics and how the pitch is being displayed? Which one is actually better?
I'd probably have to say eFootball again because, well, there's something about that graphics that have just always been superior to its competitors. The graphics for the models, especially for the player models, have just almost looked identical to their real-life counterparts.
Okay, speaking of great football gaming moments, it's time we took a half-time break. Don't go anywhere, gamers. We'll be right back after all these commercials. And we're back on Main Game after diving deep into the history of Konami's eFootball series. How about we hear some words from one of Malaysia's football legends making an appearance in the game. Here's an exclusive with Safi Sali where he talks about his experience being part of the latest eFootball entry brought to you by Konami.
The glorious sport of football, worldwide football, not American pigskin football, is enjoyed by all. approximately by 4 billion people from across the world. So, it's only natural that when you make a sports game with big licenses, you need big names and players. Star power does bring a lot of eyes to the package. Konami's eFootball series on mobile, now in its 2024 iteration, is put in a unique position where it features the top football players in every country with every major update. For the first time in the game's history, Konami has added a Malaysian football legend in the game, Safi Salih. He is a national treasure renowned for his performance during the 2010 AFF Suzuki Cup, where he scored 2 goals against Vietnam and 3 goals in the finals against Indonesia. This legendary addition in Malaysian sports history also includes the integration of the AFC Asian Cup 2023 Qatar, featuring the Malaysian national team in-game, as well as a new season mode and co-op mode. But now, onto the main man himself. We asked the football legend a number of gaming-related questions, like how he got in with Konami.
How I involved in this project, actually I'm quite a lot involved in e-sport. They recognize me on I punya kebolehan on masa during I playing lah. So thank you Konami, thank you eFootball kerana recognize my talent, recognize my capability on real sports, real game, real life. So they bring in a game. So I berdoa dan I hope for this kind of collaboration dapat menguatkan lagi antara the real sports dengan game e-sukan. Kerana platform sekarang dua-dua ni dah banyak berkembang pesat, terutamanya dalam e-games. So ramai yang dah berkejaya dalam sukan e-games. Memang tak dinafikanlah e-games ni dah menjadi satu trend, dan dalam sukan C juga Asian Game dah ada team e-games, e-sports game. So I hope this collaboration can grow after this, dan seluruh peminat bola sepak tanah air di Malaysia dapat memainkan Safi Salih, the real Safi Salih dalam games, so they can feel. So ini ada satu penghargaan untuk ahli sukan untuk berada dalam e-sports game.
As for how he feels about being a prestigious card in eFootball, especially with the stats and likeness,
perasaan saya after dinamakan dalam e-card dalam Konami eFootball ni sangat bangga, berbesar hati, dan satu penghargaan lah daripada peminat dan pengeluar sukan e-games yang recognize saya punya kebolehan dan masukkan ke dalam eFootball. So I feel very honoured, grateful. I feel when I saw the card is very happy actually, because my finishing is top notch, and my attacking mode is on there. But yes, totally fully support from what Konami did before this. My defensive is very poor, so I'm agreed on that.
having worked with esports players in eFootball, Safi Salih is no stranger in mentoring and advising the young generation regardless of the sports they're in. Here is his advice to aspiring esports athletes.
The real sport and e-games quite similar lah. They need training a lot, playing a match a lot. So dalam game e-game pun sama, mereka harus bermain dengan banyak sacrifice their time for that sports. So I think our community have to be open now. E-sports dah coming to our life, real life. So saya rasa memang pemain-pemain yang nak berjaya dalam sukan e-sport lebih kurang sama dengan permainan sukan yang betul lain, kena banyak training, dan ya saya rasa mereka harus diberi peluang untuk berkerjaya dalam permainan e-sukan.
And there you have it. Malaysia's most legendary football player is now immortalized in one of the world's most played football games in video gaming history. Truly an honor unlike any other.
Now, that was quite an interview.
Yes, and he's friendly and approachable as well. Very appropriate that we conducted this interview in one of the most casual of all places, Amama.
Okay, having star athletes and celebrities in games and involved in games is, actually rather normal, isn't it? I used to remember in the 90s that Michael Jackson made music for Sonic the Hedgehog 3.
Allegedly, at the time at least. That nugget of trivia has been confirmed by ex-Sega programmer Yuji Naka in an X post.
How about you, Luis? Do you have, a favorite athletes or superstar feature in a game?
I mean, the first one that comes to mind is the Tony Hawk Pro Skater series, featuring world-famous skater Tony Hawk. I heard that those games were amazing and set the standard for extreme sports titles in the late 90s and early 2000s.
I remember the Guitar Hero games featuring popular bands like Metallica and Aerosmith on the cover in their own Guitar Hero game entries.
I even recall a time when Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson showed up with Bill Gates to show off the first Xbox. Videos that I saw archived on YouTube, I just couldn't really believe it myself, really.
Well, sometimes you need a little, star power for your game to go the distance, but not too much. And with that, we'll be taking another halftime break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after these commercials. And we're back again on Main Game. Okay, Luis, I think that's enough of football video games for now. How about we talk about something a lot more recent?
Like the latest games to buy right now?
That's correct. Without further ado, here's the last segment of today's Main Game episode where we talk about the best games you can get right now. Take it away, Jonathan.
It's 2024. The early months of January and February has waylaid us with a lot of blockbuster games and amazing experiences, be it from the East or West. Here is but a short list of the best games to buy for your PC or consoles of choice. First up is Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown. Made up by the same folks who created the amazing Rayman Origins platformers, this bold new take on Prince of Persia has you platforming through a ton of death traps and deadly puzzles, using your time powers to air dash and teleport your way out of a jam, and kill off enemies small and epic-sized with your high-flying fancy moves that will make Devil May Cry's Dante go, "Holy that was awesome." Long story short, it's the only Ubisoft game worth getting this year. Sorry, Skull and Bones. Next up, Grand Blue Fantasy Relink, an action RPG where you slay giant monsters and hordes of never-do-wells using a cast of handsome heroes and heroines, each with their own amazing powers and skills from sword-wielding to spellcasting, or just straight-up gun blasting. There's a story mode that teaches you how to play the game and features the standard fantasy anime storylines. However, the spectacle and boss fights are amazing. Plus, the game isn't over after the 20-hour mark, since there's a post-game slew of missions and leveling up to do, with a high level cap to reach and a ton of powers and skills to unlock. With co-op quests aplenty, you won't be going at it alone in this anime-influenced fantasy experience.
You hungry for more?
Up next, the epic-sized Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, a role-playing game where you play as a group of former Yakuza and miscreants to do good in tropical Hawaii. We should warn you, you will be getting your money's worth with this big title, because there's a lot to do here. Gang fights, holiday packages to get powered up, a Pokemon ripoff, island resort management, food delivery, and so forth and so forth. Lastly, we have the much hyped and highly acclaimed title from a renowned Japanese company, Pal World. The survival game from developer Pocket Pair lets you hunt down critters called pals, and lets you recruit them to help build your base and further your exploration into the unknown, filled with rare pals. The different draw for many is that it blends elements from so many different genres, meaning that there's something for almost everyone, from adventure and exploration to base building and grinding like in MMOs. It's a little buggy and still in early access, but it's lovely survival gaming fun that combines artillery with the adorable. We've run out of time, but don't worry. There are many more main game episodes this season, so we can tell you more about the awesome new games you must play.
Whoa, that's a lot of games under 3 minutes. Courtesy of our other gaming guru in voice form, Jonathan Toyat. I'm sure there's more we didn't include due to time constraints, right, Luis?
Definitely. I really wanted to talk about Helldivers 2, a PlayStation 5 and PC shooter, which is also a third-person shooter where you kill bugs in player versus enemy fashion. If you want to play a good Starship Troopers style game with that same kind of funny military propaganda tone, then you will adore Helldivers 2. So, which of these do you think that you'll be buying for yourself, Aoife?
Well, I'm just going to go all in and say Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. I mentioned last season, actually, I love Aerith's streetwise ways. It'll be really fun to play as her in the game, even if we're stuck with Cloud for the majority of the time, you know. I really love the synergy attack she pulls off, especially when she literally pulls out a pair of shades when teaming up with Barret for a giant laser attack.
It's clear to see that Square Enix is giving fans exactly what they want. More Aerith and even more Final Fantasy VII shenanigans.
And now that we've got that obligatory season starter out of the way, thanks for the sponsors, Konami, and you can look forward to more awesome video game stories in features in the season of main game.
Look forward to exciting history lessons on game companies like Nintendo, Sega, and Microsoft, more deep dives into legendary game genres like shooters and platformers, and more exclusive interviews than you can shake a stick at. We even have upcoming contests with awesome gaming prizes, but only if you tune in. So that's it for this episode. I'm your co-host Lewis Larkham.
And I'm your host Aoife, signing off. Look forward to more future episodes of gaming goodness from yours truly at Main Game. Thank you and goodbye.
Bye.